So I checked out Weapons over the weekend and I actually really enjoyed it, but I can see how it can be a very divisive movie. Either you're gonna like it, like really enjoy it, or you're gonna hate it. I don't know if there's any in between. The reason is because the tone of the movie with Zach Kreger, he's more of a comedic director and he's gone into horror, similar to Jordan Peele, more of a comedic actor and then went into horror as a director. There's a lot of tonal shifts in this one where it seems almost more like a comedy than it is a horror. It's not really a horror, even in the sense of just traditional horror. To me, it was more of a supernatural thriller, which is fine. It has a lot of creepy moments, but there's nothing actually scary about the movie. Are there horrific events? Sure. There's 17 children missing, and one that isn't missing. You're wondering what's going on. And this movie is really about showing you what really happened from various perspectives. What I enjoy about the movie, though, is that I went into it knowing that Zach Kreger wrote this movie after losing someone that he loved. He lost a loved one, and he wrote this movie. And he essentially, I believe, not really like I'm summarizing here, but he essentially said that most of the characters in the film are based on how he was feeling. So if he wanted to just kind of like drink and just be woe is me, he was writing that character. If he wanted to like get answers and be really frustrated and angry, he wrote a character to represent that. And so knowing that and going into this movie with that knowledge, it helped me understand better of like why there's certain decisions that are made. And also why there's a lot of things in this movie that aren't answered. There's a lot of stuff that happens in here, and it's more up to your interpretation, but based on existing lore of different types of how do I say it without spoiling anything? Characters we know from like fantasy lore or different stories we've been told as children. He does that here. This is definitely like probably his most M Night-ish movie, and how he brings something that's more fantastical and brings it into the real world, but it fits and you don't really question it all that much because of how things are not necessarily explained, because he doesn't like fully just give you a step by step of what's happening here, but the way that it flows within the story and the way that he chooses what he wants to show you and what he wants to tell you, but he doesn't dumb it down. Like he understands the audience is a smart audience, and you're gonna put the pieces together to make things make sense. Again, there's certain things in the movie that maybe don't make a lot of sense. For example, there's a scene where Josh Brolin has a dream. His son is missing. He's having a dream, and he sees his son running, with that Naruto style arms to the side kind of run back to his home. But he looks above his home, and there's like this image of a AR above his house. And it's weird. There's no explanation for it. Never shows up again. It just kind of happens. There's moments like that in this one. I think people will kind of get a little frustrated by that. Also, the ending of the movie. The movie ends, and I kind of wanted to see, like, okay, what's the aftermath of some of this stuff that went on? Sometimes I want a movie of that, but then I also know that would probably be boring, unless they did, like, flashbacks of what led to certain things. I just want to know, what did law enforcement do here? What did the parents, like, do with these people? Again, I don't want to go into like too many things because this movie can easily be spoiled. Now, one thing I will say though, I don't think if this movie has already been spoiled for you, it'll mess with your experience actually watching the movie. I go back to, for me, I think Captain America: Winter Soldier. I knew how that movie ended, like the kind of the twist in that movie, but watching it was really still cool to see and see how it played out. This one, I could tell you what it is or what causes these kids to leave their home at 2:17 in the morning and just be lost for what, like a month, 2 months. uh and I don't think it would mess up the viewing experience personally, because even getting the revelation of what it is, I didn't go, whoa, oh my god. I just went like, oh, so this person must be this or this person must be that. I just came to it myself. So I will say that I think that there's aspects to this that lend themselves to be watched on the big screen. Yes, I would say like with a group. Like once this movie's out for a while and people aren't going to see it and the crowds start to diminish, then it's best to just watch this at home. But if you can see it now with a group of people, you're gonna laugh. You're gonna, I guess somewhat be in fear in different moments, depending on just your taste or flavor of horror. But again, it's not a scary movie. I think it's a great story. It's an original story. It's an original way of going at this type of fantastical scenario, but it's very much like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, kind of like The Village and kind of like Lady in the Water. If I had to think of two scenarios where it's very much reminiscent of that, best comparisons would be those two movies. But this one's good. The performances are great. The cinematography is great. Creepy moments, while not scary, still feel great. And then again, the overall story is cool. Even the comedic moments work. But I think some people will be frustrated with the tonal shifts and then also with how the movie ends. That's all I'm gonna say. So if you've seen it, let me know your thoughts on that. I will probably do a part 2 on this to go into actual spoilers. If you're interested, you can check that out as well. But again, hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you have watched it, let me know in the comments what you thought of the movie, and let's chat a little bit more about it.